Well, I just been having a little talk here this morning, and it's one of my lecture talks. Like like I said, it's one reason I know I can come out here and kind of maybe I'm helping people out here, but you know I'm one of these kind of people, and my wife and I was going over. I'd gotten up this morning about almost o'clock. I had to go bathroom, so naturally I'll wake you up. But you know, I told her, and I was gonna make a video anyway. I had something I was gonna talk about. I told her, she could do whatever she wants with her ring. I told her because, like I said, you know, yeah, initially, probably the first time she took that one, that first one down there, it was, like I said, you didn't know how you was gonna react. But you reacted. Now you know how kind of you did that time. It'll be better the next time. Like I said, if we found somebody, of course, I'd get them. We'd get them some kind of ring, take them with us or something. And once we got to know what, and went to, like a Walmart or somewhere wherever we had, you know, and like I told my wife, I never bought nobody a ring that big or that much, And so to get one that was several $100s, normally I wouldn't have had the money had it not been for the stimulus check and all that stuff. But I told her, I said, if we need groceries, we need groceries. But like I told her, I'm weighing the pros and the cons. You have groceries maybe for a couple of weeks, but you won't have that option open the next time. She understands. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot different talking to my wife than it is someone that you don't know, that you didn't spend no time. I'm not naming names, just coming out and just saying. And you get people naturally, my wife's gut instinct was probably right, in her own way, even though she didn't know why she didn't talk to crack whore. She had her gut was probably right. The feeling was probably it wasn't enough to persuade her at the time to talk to her. Something was wrong. And maybe my wife's gut was initially right and she went against her gut and thought maybe things might have changed or something. I don't know. And again, because like I said, she's had some from out of state. We've had all kinds of these, different ones. And I'm not going to say her name names. I could go on all night. But there's there's a lot of them that's been out of state. And some of them it's not even nowhere near home. And that's why I said it does no good naturally to just bring somebody up. You know, if it were me and I planned that, if I really liked somebody and I really wanted to make that clear, and me and my wife want to make it clear, I'm not, I don't have anybody to call or text anyway. But even if I did, I'm not going to tell. Oh yeah, by the way, I've met Britney Spears or whoever it might be out here in public. I ain't going and telling everybody in the goddamn neighborhood who I meet, whether it be one of them or if it'd been, whoever it be, it'd be somebody that looks just about probably like them or in some way as good as they do. But like I said, it's nobody's business. That's how I knew the crack whore thing wasn't going to work because she's too worried about other things. And she was worried about, yeah, does her kids come first? Just like all kids should. They should. They shouldn't be down here at a married couple's house. Like I told my wife earlier, I know 15, 20 years from now, maybe even 10 years from now, she'll look back at this and people like her, not just her, but people like her will understand that I put something in there. And she'll never do it again. No one like her will do it again. She should never, without me having papers on those kids, without my wife, Derek, sometimes you can't pretend when it comes to this. I don't appreciate being, and I've said it once last night. I'll say it again. I don't appreciate have been called Uncle Derek, and I'm sure my wife would agree. About the Aunt Jessie stuff. like I said, had I had some kind of paperwork, had I, somehow had been included in this stuff. Like I said, a lot of this stuff was spur of the moment, last minute stuff. We had some stuff that happened to us that if I had, and not many people would probably out here believe. If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't. But you know, I I'm one of those kind of people, and we was talking about a little bit about how people up there at the apartments, which we nicknamed them crack whore apartments, but the apartments up here at Stevenson Square. But I wrote those letters, and I took my time out, four or five of them, at least four or five different ones, and they they basically, without me being in the same room, they've acknowledged to my wife that that's why they didn't let her, in so many words, that's why they didn't let her around them that much, and they knew that she was a bad case, and that ultimately what I saw with my own eyes was not a surprise. She was raised, let me say it this way, she was raised to be good. Now, just like all of us, we have a choice. Some, like my wife, may, like she said, she started out kind of. She told me this morning, well, Derek, at one time back when I was little, I was a loner and all this, and then I got to where something told me, hey, maybe I ought to take, and do something like that. Maybe this is, and again, your eyeballs, like I told her, there's a difference between a woman and a man. A man's normally, unless he's got big muscles, unless he's got, those Scott Steiner, god dang, looks like you're about to bust kind of muscles out there. Guys naturally aren't attractive. A woman, that's a different story. A woman, they wonder why. And I told my wife, she unlike most people, she'll at least you can talk to her, and she knows in my voice that when I'm telling something, I get a little bit loud. So another thing most women wouldn't understand, and that's why again that was something, when it sounds like I was yelling, when I'm trying to get a point across, and actually whether you want to take it as I'm yelling at you in a bad way or not, that's your call. But yeah, naturally when I'm getting a point across, sometimes I get like that. But that's like I told my wife, there was no misunderstanding here. There was nobody bossing anybody around. It was the fact that a lot of times people try to defeat the system that works. They think they can go around and change stuff up that actually works. And you always revert back to what you started with. Like I said, it's not uncommon. Even when this freaking crack whore was born in 1990 or 91, she was still pre internet era. There wasn't no, there's still pay phones, and even when you're, like I told my wife, when you're 9, 10 years old, even then you're barely creeping into the cell phone era. By the time I got my first cell phone, she'd have been about 10, 11 years old. What was she doing? Right? I know it ain't her parents' fault for her acting this way. Maybe they should have put like I said, maybe people ought to practice what I preached in school. Keep your hands to yourself, and you learn better. You learn that work comes before playtime. That's why you don't go around and getting all, I'll take pride every day that I wake up and knowing I didn't go out there and slut around and have to, yeah, I was kept to a certain thing, and I wasn't around a whole lot of people. But I'll tell you this, there's a reason why you don't go out here half naked or whatever it is, and stuff like that. And God help me, that if there's anything such as this, there's a reason why women have this problem. It's because of them. They're so freely to let other people touch them, and when they get hurt or touched or whatever it might be, and like I told my wife, I explained to her, even though I didn't meet the crack whore, like I didn't meet her, and I didn't meet nobody, I was, in a good way, I was kept to a certain few. When I went to somebody's house, it was somebody my mom knew. I was told to behave for them, and I knew. I wasn't running around screaming and yelling and doing stuff like that in the house. I knew better. I knew if I did that, when I got home, I'd get my butt busted or something, grounded or something. Like I said, there's a difference. Crack whore, this crack whore up here, she just didn't, she knew I was doing right. She just didn't want to do right. Oh, she's afraid she's going to upset one of her goddamn kids' feelings. That's what the problem is. Everybody's gotten so soft. Every time you think of getting a belt out and giving a kid a whooping, that's what I told my wife. That's what's wrong with everybody. She wants to know what's wrong with it. Maybe she won't forget this video. What's wrong with everybody is everybody watches too much news, right? And they change everything. This ain't no lie. It's exactly what's wrong with everybody. Everybody thinks there's a movement, and everybody thinks they need to, just like a lot of these women go out here and lie on these poor men, make them lose their jobs, and it could be somebody famous, or it could be somebody just barely getting started, and then they go out and try to have fun, and then they get accused of something. It can happen to anybody, just like a crack whore could come up here and started, just like I'm saying, I'm using this for an example, but yeah, she could come up here and said any stupid thing like that to the police and got my ass, in jail and locked up. Sometimes that happens. So you definitely got to watch who you let in your apartment and in your house. If you didn't care enough about them to get to know them on the internet, which I don't endorse, if you didn't care enough about them to get to know them, and if they didn't give their number out and you didn't get to know them in and out and have them over at your house for any length of time, and you never saw them before, well, it's probably a good idea not to take them in at all. Because, like I said, I don't care if she's starving or if her goddamn kids are starving out here. I'm not doing anything for them. The way they treated me and my wife, those kids, and that damn brat will never see another dime. They'll never see me again. I have respect for her parents, but I do not have respect for those fucking kids. I've seen 3, 4, and 5-year-olds act a lot better than this fucking 3-year-old was acting toward me. I can't help it I didn't dick your mother, and I didn't have you. But you ought to have respect. Kids like you ain't stupid. I don't know how it is that, like I told my wife, I remember things when I was 4 and 5 years old. I kind of remember sitting there in a rocking chair and, memories kind of come back when I first started singing. But you can't sit there and tell me that goddamn fucking 3-year-old didn't know what she's fucking doing. She is acting like a 13-year-old. Whining over because she couldn't go see daddy. Well, you know why you couldn't go see daddy? Your mama. And to be honest with you, she likes to get raped. She likes to be touched. But yes, she won't let a guy like me do anything. She wants me to just sit here and look at her. Well, I can go do that watching one of my wife's Lifetime movies. I can watch these half-naked women, these wrestlers on TV. I can watch them in their underwear and their bra and panties and everything else. My God, I never felt so darn fucking restricted in all my life. And my wife said the same thing. The most miserable fucking piece of shit I ever laid my eyes on, all of it. I mean, I come out of that thing, have more respect for the elder folks and the brother in the whole thing, even though he, like I said, he might not have had his head on straight neither sometimes. But he didn't come up to me, start backsassing me. I mean, this is just something you don't do. You don't keep this trend going. If you're happy with something, stay with it. If you like having your if you've got a clique of some kind, or you got people from work and couples coming over to your house and all that, don't put me or my wife in it. I like I said, I'm going. That's one thing my wife and I both are saying. And she's just right over there doing dishes. She can hear me. If I don't have any rights to you and I don't have papers on you, why, Derek, some idiot out there be like, well, Derek, you don't have to do that with you. No, but I'm going to have me a written down contract of sorts of certain things I'm going to ask. And I'm going to have some type of assurance when it comes to the next and last person that's ever going to see this. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go through what I need to go through, and depending on who the person is and what's in it, it's going to depend on how many of those questions I have to ask and how I'm going to go about it. But I always, and I'll make sure I say this with her sitting right here, standing right there, I always ask whether there's drugs involved, if somebody smokes or drinks or what have you. I'm not as much worried about things I can't control, such as politics and fucking people all up in arms over what I think about what president is running the show. That ain't got anything to do with me. That's why I'm saying I'm more worried about the person sitting in front of me than the person I don't know that I ain't never been inside their house or never seen in my lifetime. That's the difference between me and a crack horse. They're worried about people that they don't have, that they can't have in front of them, and they're more worried about that stuff and the internet and the whole 9 yards. I mean, like I told my wife earlier, I said that's one of the first fucking things she started talking about was, well, why don't y'all got a Facebook? Well, that's why we don't, because y'all are lucky y'all getting anything. And that's just why I'm saying it's these people are, they're just, they're crazy. They don't have any. They don't have any respect, but yet they're going and, like I told my wife, they'll behave for all their mom, their dad, and all that stuff most of the time. But even their mom and dad may have problems, like we saw with this one, and I'm sure they have. But they're the ones that had the person, and if she's the only girl in the family, well, and I'm not just naming crack whore, but anybody, well, you're probably going to have a problem. Like I said, if you had one child, out there, and they were the only child, of course. And I used to go around and, like I told my wife, I used to get comments on my hair, my eyes. My mom used to go around and to talk about, how I was her favorite, I guess because I was her firstborn or whatever. It doesn't make me special. I never tooted my own horn. I had my brother come up and tell me, well, for some reason, Derek, she likes you over me or whatever it still is. I said, well, I don't know why I didn't do anything special. But no, I myself, I could have punched a couple of buttons and made my choices a lot more hectic on people. My family don't even think about stuff like that. They don't think about all the stuff I try to do for them. They're more worried about the That's why I said I'm not putting my foot back in something. I already know what's going to happen. I already know, and that's the problem. I'm ahead of the game. It's not that I'm mad at my subscribers or anybody that subscribes, but it's just like I said, I'd prefer to talk out here, or like I did last night. I put my wife's number down there, so if there was some young lady that might be in their 20s and 30s or something, and there might be somebody that can do something, and he actually has the time and the stuff, and actually agrees with this video, and maybe don't give a fuck about the ghost in the sky mess and that whole 9 yards and all this hoopla. That most of everyone, not everybody, but most of everybody is ingrained in and told they have to waste 80 or 90% of their day thinking a freaking guy that no longer either existed on this earth to begin with or did at one time. Who knows? I don't have time for that. All I know is what I see in front of me. That's all I got time for. I don't have time to sit around and worry about what's going to come after I'm no longer here. I don't have time for that. I'm lucky if I'm getting up for the next day or whatever. Like I said, I know what my day pretty well holds. I know what my wife's day holds. I hate it like she does, but it's not a lot of people it takes too good with handicapped people. You have to be a special person to sit down there and hush and just go with the flow. It's like that Kenny Rogers song. You gotta know when to hold, know when to fold, know when to walk away, know when to run. That right there sums it up. So all that can pertain to anybody out here that just that little bit in that song. And again, it's in the name of the song, gambler. It's a gamble every time you take a chance on somebody you've never met, that you didn't hang out with, that you didn't go and do anything with, never been to their house or know anything of them. That's what you get. That's what we got. We got mistreated because some things that we neglected to check out all the way, and I should have asked questions. Parents should have told them, I was given a few warnings. But there won't be any more people from these places up here unless my wife and I checked everything out. And if it doesn't add up, it's the last person that gets anything, because at this time we're too old for this. I'm going to be 38 myself coming up. And less than actually it'll be a month coming up. 30 more days. My wife's going to be 35 coming up. Yep. So whoever this last person is, they better make it count. And they better know what they want. I ain't gonna quit their bullshit. Quit this. If you got friends or something, like I said, I don't care to meet them. I just don't like it looking like it's forced on me, and I have to talk about them, hear about them, and that whole 9 yards. I don't know them. If you know them, great for you. But I can't guarantee you, like I told my wife, I can't guarantee you this ain't nothing to do with just people on drugs or been on drugs or whatever. Anybody. I can't guarantee you that if you, all right. I can't guarantee anybody's going to like me that you like. And my wife ain't never met. So if I was a young lady out there, I would personally, if I had me and my wife sitting in front of you, and you like this deal that's been out here now on YouTube for a while, like I said, I apologize, but I'm just me. I don't filter myself a lot. I say what's on my mind. I'm passionate about things. I could be a rich man right now if they had a pulpit up out here and was telling people how to do. If I had it my way, I'd just take beer and cigarettes and all that shit off and watch people starve for it. I take marijuana off the streets because it's no good. And, a lot of people they have no they have no real reason to live. Basically, they go and it seems like it's just the way they are. They just don't seem like they want to live or anything right. They always got to do everything backwards. Everything's got to be done by dirt. 75, 80% of people's doing it, or whatever percentage it is. Well, yeah, and there's 10, 15, 20% of it still out there trying to say, hey, you know, we need to get this stuff. Try to as many people as possibly can. They try to get somewhere. But no, she was debating on whether to go out there and go. Like I said, I'm all for getting your ring. I'll just wait till it finds us or whatever, you know. But this is what you're gonna get. I'm gonna get a little bit loud when I'm opinionated. I'm gonna joke around in a sarcastic way. I'm not gonna have a handy joke book, and all that. I'm gonna make fun of something on TV and get my own self to crack up. I'm gonna like my music. I'm gonna like my stuff I was raised on. If somebody just sit there and go with the flow and shut up and listen, you'd be a lot better off. Not just talking about me or my wife, but anybody that you meet. It ain't gonna kill you. If they told you to jump off a bridge, I'd understand. If they told you to take a gun and shoot yourself with it, I'd understand. But I didn't tell that to anybody. And I didn't tell Crack Whore that either. So like I said, she'll learn, and Susan will learn. Like I said, she's one of them out here that was out here in the local area. Now, a lot of them, like I said, up there in the apartments, they really feel bad for taking at least any interest in her to begin with. Like I said, she was just using them to get their pills, and if they were trying to get money out of her, she had no way to be, like I said earlier in this video, people like her ought to have kids. They ought to know better than to spread their legs open. Have kids that they can't, tend to and can't, like I told my wife, they can sit there and play tickle tank with them and all that stuff all they want to and play the tickle me Elmo game all they want, but they ain't got my name on it and I ain't getting nothing out of it. My wife ain't. I'm not going to sit here and watch somebody else's kids and be, miserable as fuck. I want to watch a few things I do like and what and the things that I do enjoy. I want to enjoy with somebody else. Me and my wife wants to have somebody else that has that stuff or a lot of it in common. We don't have to watch it 24/7. We can watch different things. We can entertain what you got to and add it to it and compromise where we can compromise. But I'm not getting on Facebooks and Tweeters anymore and all this, stuff. But I assume that, I've ran a lot of people off and I've made a lot of people also look at me in a positive light, even though they don't come around me, even though the Megans and the Melanies and all that don't come around me. My wife has come out and said that they've told her before that I've come out and I've helped them by writing those letters and what we went through down here. It wasn't a secret that they thought that she wouldn't show out. They just didn't do what we did and throw everything on all at one time, and that's why she didn't show out as bad. She was only seeing them on a part-time basis and a limited one at that. And that's the difference. We was trying to give it all at one time, and that's why I got burned. And then that's why it's important to get to know them for a few months. The next person that comes up here, if there is one, take a few months. It ain't gonna kill us. I mean, we can spend half the day. If we have to, we'll go over if you want. If we feel comfortable around you enough, if we want to go over, we can stay over at your house for the night. If you don't, if it ain't, if it ain't one of them places like we got that rents. I mean, like I said yesterday on here, In the video I made, my wife was on here for a few minutes. I wouldn't care if you stay a night or two or something. It just if you want to stay, but I can't have you up here 2 or 3 weeks. It puts me, my wife, in a bad spot. And when there ain't no assurance, and there's no way out, and you can't, at least if you can't see a way out, then you're in one of these deals where you have to make decisions that you don't want to make, but you have to make them for the better of what me and my wife is. And yeah, like I said, she'll admit she had a hard time getting over some of that stuff. But it is what it is. It was the best decision we could have made was let it go. And no matter if it was the Felicia's or whoever it was, it's just good to let it go. If it wasn't the right fit, you know, like I said, I'm sure if I was different and had 20 or 30 people or different women or different, all these guys, I had a couple of them that I tried out, that was, but they had stuff that was going on in their stuff. They was trying to put me and my wife between it. Same sort of stuff, only they wasn't talking about drugs and alcohol and things of that nature. But again, that's why I gave them up. Family, friends that I gave them up for the same reasons I gave up this stuff here. But we had intended on a lot. There was a lot there, and I even told this one's dad and all that stuff. We had a lot of stuff we wanted to do, and had a lot of fun things we'd like to have done. But with the kids in the way, and in the minds where it was at, you wasn't going to get no happiness out of nothing here. So that's why we're hoping somebody the opposite. Like I said, I'm not a kid hater, but unless they're above and beyond behaving and they're as good as gold, I'm not taking nothing like that because I much prefer just to have one person sitting in front of me and my wife and getting to know her and hear her life story and see what's in there. But I'm not going to open up something that has no meaning to me or has none of our names on it. I'm not opening it up. I'm not going to tell you your Valentine's presents or a Christmas thing or whatever. If it just so happens that's the time of year you show up, that's what you show up. But I'm not going to, because I want to be truthful. I want the person to know, and I want my wife to know when she feels something and she knows it's right, and we'll know that. But when we know it's right, there won't be any second guesses. There won't have to be anybody go through anything we went through. It's just something that we have to learn from. And we can't change who we are. We don't judge you for what you look like, your color, or where you came from. What you could be a person that lived in Sweden somewhere and have moved down here somewhere in Tennessee and been a foreigner. I've never met a foreign lady, but I just wonder, these American women, most of them seem to be a lot more troubling, and they just seem like they've gotten worse. And, again, I've just always had curious thoughts of that, and I know a lot of times, and I had a next door neighbor that had a husband. She said, "Well, what you need, Derek," and this is before I had anybody. She said, "What you need is a good old foreign lady. They like to cook for their significant other, and they just, their cultures are different. It's not that you're saying they're slaves or whatever. It's just something they do. And I've never, unfortunately, I don't get out like I said, a lot or anything. And yeah, we don't drive, we don't work, and we have our SSI and all that stuff. Like I told my wife, I said, had everything worked out like I had hoped it was. I had even called up her payee there at one point and told her, I said, "Hey, if this thing with Susan here worked out, you might not have to be her payee much longer." And I left her a message after I knew it wasn't going to work. Like my wife said earlier when I was talking, before I got on the video, said, "Well, Derek, she stole my bunnies." She just, you know, and she wonders why nobody could put up with it. Like I said, there's time and place to act up like, to be upset. I can understand being upset and crying about your past and stuff, and you want a hug or something. But to continually go over it and over it and over it and accuse people of things that wasn't going on, that wasn't happening, nobody was stealing your medicines, nobody was touching you. Me and my wife was right here. Why, Derek? That's why she was getting upset because you didn't go through all that. Well, I'm sorry, but I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I wouldn't worry about stuff if I were her and I were anybody in her position. I'd hope I have enough sense to not worry about the past. I worry about the present and the future. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe that'll be something I'll be known for. Straightening people up, helping people that I can't see, that I can't physically touch or do anything with. Maybe my voice out here will help people. Maybe that's what these subscribers likes my videos or something of that nature. The stuff that the Jim Cornettes or whatever stuff I have. I don't know. But like I said, that's all I get done is straighten something out. But I'm not going to continue to have three or four more people. Whoever this lady is will have to know she's right. She ain't going to be perfect, but she'll know she's a perfect fit for what's here. And she'll be able to understand it and accept it. And even if she's not had the experience of being around as much of handicapped people, she'll learn to understand, to be able to respect our positions on things. And I have already been briefed of knowing what she can expect and what, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that can do and put smile. I want to see somebody put a smile on our faces. Enough of this drama, enough of this, stuff. We just want somebody to put a smile on her face. That's all we'd hope for with old Susan there. It's just somebody we could put a smile on her face and be happy. I couldn't even go out on a walk. She's out there on purpose, walking ahead, speed walking ahead, stuff like that. Just little bit of things like that would get on my nerves. Hell, if you couldn't even go in public with her half the time because people already knew what she was, and she's making all these people uncomfortable just sitting in the damn office. Somebody knew, like I said, you get gut feelings. And I'm not going to say she was doing anything wrong, but I'm just saying some people seen this person or heard this person and knew she was trouble. As much as I don't like, some of these especially old Latin from Alabama or whatever, well, that's probably all my wife's going to get. I have to understand that might be all that she gets. I may get nothing. I don't want nothing out of that, but I'm just saying she knows what I'm talking about. And, it don't bother me. As long as they ain't fussing and fighting and arguing. Hell, let her be biased. Let her be sexist and let her, have her ways and that shit. I don't want anything to do with it. As long as it's supposed to be just some fucking doll whore anyway. As my wife, if she had never posted them damn doll pictures on that Facebook, to be honest with you, she wouldn't that person would never felt let it come out anyway. But that's why I don't fool with married couples, because I myself, if I have to fool with a married couple, a man plus a woman, I can't. I know I will be restricted as it was anyway. So I'm glad and I'm thankful that we don't live next door to these people. Oh, I just be miserable. I'd much rather be sitting in the house and watching my own TV and listening to my own music. At least I know my wife likes a lot of the stuff I like. And I can be myself. I don't have to worry about censoring myself or having to watch what I say, how I say it, or whatever. I can just come out and pretty well do it. Because she expects that. She knows. And that's why I'm saying she's different from a lot of the people. Because she was meant to be. She had a purpose. She Didn't care if we had a few ups or downs. She was able to be talked to. Yeah, we butted heads a couple times on some things, and she gave me a hard time to start with on some of it, because she wanted me to like certain things, and certain things wasn't the way she drew them up. She didn't know we wasn't going to get as much out of it as she first thought. She thought I was going to get more out of it, or she was going to get more. It is what it is. So we could have just said easily, we could have just said, "Oh, hey, Derek, we just give everybody what you want and split up, make everybody happy." The only thing you'd be doing is giving up the person you really have these feelings for, that you have deep down inside that you can't replace, but you'd be giving up your one true love, and you'd be they'd be laughing and giggling and making jokes about it, and then you'd be thinking, man, I wish I hadn't done that. And there's been times it got close, but she was able, and I was able to do something with her that I couldn't do with anybody else I've ever laid my eyes on that she's brought to me, no matter where they've been. But it's just and I referred to on the video or some of the other ones that she met over out of state. I wasn't able to do anything with that. And for good reason. I'm good at straightening people up. That's what I'm good at. Don't ever forget me. I know that when I'm gone, that's what I'll be known for. Is either having a big shit list full of people, like all my family, all her family, and all the people I spoke of or mentioned in passing. And also be knowing that I helped a lot of those too. I helped a few of them see their ways and help them realize, hey, I don't need to be out there pretending to be a slut or whore or letting people just in the thoughts of touching me. They should have to earn that. Like I said, it's just this offer that my wife's got. It's not about sex all the time or 24/7 or whatever. Hey, yeah, like I said, me and my wife say, hey, every once in a while we get in the mood to do something like that once in a while. And if you feel like you want to just join, we're not going to hold it. We're not going to hold it against you. You don't join in if you're a lady or something. I ain't going to do this like, me and my wife don't like guys or whatever. But like I said, it's just crazy that everybody wants to make everything about sex or that it's the only thing that everybody thinks about now. Well, like I said, there's other stuff that me and my wife obviously do more and get more out of. We'd like to have somebody we could just give them a hug once in a while, and give them a kiss or something, a kiss on the cheek at least, and sit there and watch a good old movie, have them cuddle up with us, and all that good stuff, and different things like that. And go places, and go to the parks, go to the mall, go to the flea market, and all this stuff, and you don't have to have, like I said, it never was about cars or money or nothing like that. You could be out here and have hardly anything to your name, and I'd be the first one. And my wife, if we saw you and you came to this door out here or just out here walking around today, tomorrow, whatever, it happened. Or if you saw this video and watched it all the way through, you know, it's like I said, are we the most deserving people? Probably not. But nobody is. You're drawn a hand of cards and you were put here for whatever reason. However we got here is how we got here. But one thing is you see too many marriages and too many couples fighting over stuff that they lusted after. Few things of pleasure, few minutes of pleasure. Kids, you see so many people's relationships. You see us on Steve Wilkos and whole nine yards. You can sit here and watch CNN and all these news networks, world's news, and they only have about 3 or 4 things to talk about. And it's, the stuff I've covered in this video. And that's it. Why watch that? Last time I watched anything of any sort that had any bearing on the world and was supposed to change people, like I said before, was 9/11. Oh man, everybody thought, man, that'll make everybody love each other. That was everybody's, whole thinking process then. And everybody, all these singers, a couple of these singers come out with these songs. It didn't change anything. We keep getting more modern and more stuff. And some things, like I said, some things are better, more modern, some ain't. You know, if there was things to keep kids off the internet, teenagers, if there was, there's ways of doing that. they, they just refuse to. But like I said, just like the internet stuff, the whole Twitter and the Facebook thing, it gets old because then you can't go on there and you can't send out a friend request. You can't do nothing. You're bound and gagged by some person that's some kind of idiot that's on there, or they got some kind of thing set up where you can't be yourself. Yet my wife can send out, or at the time, at the time she could get like 5,000 damn people on there. But the minute she's on there sending out multiple friend requests in a few minutes or a couple hours at a time, or messaging two or three of them, oh, you know, hey, oh, there's something wrong with that. But like I said, if we could go back, I'm sure there's things she'd change. I'm sure, you know, she would have either not added as many people, or if she wanted to know the person that was nearby and was up here at this person's apartment, she would have probably gotten to know that instead of that person in Alabama. I mean, I don't know. I'm not my wife, but I'm saying there's things I could point to. I could have been a singer. I could have been. I told my wife if I had punched a couple buttons myself, made a couple choices, and said yes to them. If I wanted to be if I wanted to be a DJ so bad and I wanted to be famous, I could have done that. I could have made choices where my family would have had been up my ass all the time and would have tried to get me places, and I'd have had to hear it. Oh man, he wasted all my time, and how he did this or how he did that. Same thing with my wife. If she had made some of the choices, I would never have seen her. She was always out somewhere else, Florida, Ohio, and around. She never saw me anywhere. I never. That's what I'm saying. The only time I've been out of state was that time I went to J Fest, and that was on a little part of Georgia, Chickamauga, Georgia's closest part of Georgia. Well, and like I said, I've never been back because it's the most miserable thing I ever went to. All that stuff looks good on TV and all that stuff, but it's hot as blue blazes, and it's too hot for anybody to be out there. You have a heat stroke. So it's a good thing I didn't go to no freaking river bends or anything like that. Now I've been to a few airplane shows, and yeah, it was hot, but it wasn't overbearingly hot that I recall. And I know I didn't definitely get sunburned as bad. Might have got a little bit, but not the way I got over in Chattanooga. But I've been to a few things. But naturally, when you're moving, the whole thing is just like you know, uh, if you're moving, naturally you're going to do better. If you're standing around and the sun's beaming down on you, and stuff, that's a lot worse than if you're moving. That's what I hope my wife remembers. That's why she made it as far as she did the other day before she really got sick. If she'd been standing there not moving, is the worst thing she could have done. That's why one time I remember when I went to school, when I went back to school, I was in high school then, and oh, what happened to you? I said, it's okay. It was because I was standing there. There's a goddamn line full of damn people, full of youngins, over in Athens. They took us over here to one of these damn, things. And there's a goddamn line full of people by like, thought fucking Undertaker or one of these damn famous people sitting up there as long as it took them that goddamn long to got a goddamn hot dog and a bag of chips and a goddamn small drink or something. I mean, that's all it was setting up there. And yet that line couldn't move no faster than that. And it's like there was no line moving. I was pretty far back. And, I started feeling lightheaded. And there's some young pretty girl, it's happened to see me. I think she'd saw me at one time or something, maybe back when I was at one of the other places, the other schools or something I went to. She went out her way to make sure I was okay. And got my stuff. She went up there and cut the line and said, hey, this guy about passed out. Boy about passed out. And anybody could do that. You don't have to be on nothing. You don't have to be handicapped to, have it happen to you. That's how you get cancer stuff too sometimes. Too much sun, too much, you can get skin cancer and all that sort of stuff. I mean, like I said, the government wastes a lot of time also on stuff, like I said, cigarettes and stuff. And yet, because of the ghost stuff in the sky, they won't sell beer on Sundays. Who gives a fuck? I'm not, again, like I said, if it was up to me, I'd just take all that shit off. But, I mean, if you're going to sell beer, and I'm never going to be president of the United States because if I was, I'd have all these people starving for shit. But anyway, and it's too much trouble, and I don't want people up over me. I can't stomach it as it is. That's why I won't work. A lot of people don't know how to do their jobs. That's why I've always said, and one of the other things I've always said, and I told my wife, and these people that's put in charge over you, they don't know how to come to you and actually break it down to you, why they're going to release you, why they're going to send you home for a little while. They just make a rash decision and expect you to like it, and expect you to understand it. And and I feel sorry for somebody you don't go home with, that you don't have anything for, that you don't have feelings for. I can't help but take that light off. Ain't my problem. Like I said, I tried everybody's stuff. I made compromises, and I've done stuff with family, friends, and all this stuff combined. They'll look back at it later and they'll be like, well, yeah, I wish I had not said this. I wish I didn't do this or that or whatever. Because I don't care who passes away, whether it's family or one of my friends and stuff. I'm not going to anybody else's stuff. I mean, if we had a bestie or something or whatever, some of her people, and I really got to know my wife, and I got to know her or something, I might make exception on that behalf, but or something. But I'm not just gonna go in anybody. Just like I won't go to anybody's wedding. I'm not. Nobody out here is gonna invite and gonna send me an invitation to go somewhere because they don't know. Because I didn't have. But no, I just felt led. I come out here and put some stuff out. A lot of it, like I said, well, it's the same sort. Well, it don't matter. It's no different than like I told her. I see these people all the time on YouTube. These dang people with their videos. These dang reborn people, or these people trying to sell something. Oh yeah, look at my video, Derek. There's all this stuff, and then you got, and sometimes I'll be listening to Jim Cornette on there, and there'll be somebody say, "Oh yeah, I was at that event," and I was like, and I looked up this guy named Tim Hall or whatever, and I never heard him. I said, one thing I know you're not is somebody famous. He might have been the door taker, or door ticket man, or whatever it was, but he probably, or it was just somebody passing through. I mean, my God, he makes such a big, long thing out because he just so happened to be there. Oh, well, big whoopie-doo-dah, you know what I mean? But, no, felt like, I come out here and put something out, maybe make somebody think twice, you know, help them out, and maybe it might be somebody that runs across it. Maybe some lady might run across that. Maybe, hey, I could fit. It's not too much. Just it depends on who you are as a person. Uh, you know, it's like I said, you could have food, you could have all sorts of stuff, pets, clothes, whatever else. I told my wife, what's in that bag right there is good enough. Any lady, any normal lady would like that. They'd have a fit over it. It's stuff they didn't ask for. But we felt led to go get it in case there's shirts, there's a couple of other things. You know, it's not necessary that it's about a ring. It was to signify, we were all one. Like I said, we could always take somebody up there if we met them, and later on get them some kind of ring or something. Let them pick one out that they want. And everything. We could save it up, whatever. Like I said, if we find somebody, we can always ditch our payee. We can get our check stuff changed over and get it sent to us out here at our mailbox every month. I just got one of them goddamn things from the government the other day. They let me know that they'd reviewed my case, or every once in a while we'll review your case. I got one of these things. That's a good thing. I think on my feet. And one day I got something. I don't know if my wife remembers this or not. She might. But I remember it was about a month ago. Or a little over a month ago. I got one of these damn things. She said, and she brings me the mail. A lot of times we don't get nothing. There are no bills or anything because they're all a part of payee or Dunlap. But it was funny that we got this one thing, and it's from the Social Security people, and it had a thing. It had an envelope wanting to return some kind of fucking something or another, put something in there and send it or whatever. And I'm like, there's no fucking papers. There's no papers to sign. There's nothing to put in there. And it was like, I remember when 2020 hit. I remember it's like the worst year like that. That whole virus thing gave everybody an excuse. Like I said, if everybody had been doing what they're supposed to, that wouldn't happen. Because everybody kept their stuff to what they should and keep, all that to what they should, then we wouldn't been in that mess, traveling all over the world with that mess. And it being brought over here if we didn't have foreigners over here on purpose getting everybody sick, eating all that nasty foreign food and all that stuff. They knowingly could be bringing all that stuff over here trying to kill us. On purpose. There's some people like it. They just don't care. A lot of people do, but there is some out there that honestly wouldn't care what they's doing. So again, but no, it's just like I say, it's just a rule of thumb. When you got people like you got out here, you can't teach. You can't make everybody, they see your point of view. They just don't like it, and they know it's right. Like I said, that's why I got acknowledgments from, the one we was talking about earlier. And like I said, all I know is like I said, I can take pride knowing that I changed a few people's lives, that they won't make these same mistakes again, whoever they be. So if you run into me and I've made you a lot better person, I may not get to thank you in person, and I may never lay my eyes back on you, but at least I know I've helped you help yourself. You're too stupid enough to do it yourself. Somebody like me had to come along and teach it to you the hard way. You wouldn't listen to me the easy way and let me tell you in a calm voice. I had to get a little bit right and I had to get a little bit loud, and almost at one time, like we had one here last year, I thought was going to physically do something. And I didn't want to. I gave her last warning before I was going to go down. She all of a sudden started crawling up and crying. And I got to the point where I just didn't even want to look at her. I was trying to keep my mind on something else, open up the doors, stare at the dishes and the cabinets or something. Talk to myself. But, you just gotta watch. Gotta watch. Gotta watch who is led in our circle, and gotta hopefully help somebody out there too. May have not thought this stuff. Some people are just not cared to look at it. But you can't let counselors and all that stuff in your head. Oh yeah, you need 100 friends up your ass. All you need is just somebody that fits. It's like a puzzle. All you need is just somebody that fits what you're looking for. You don't need to just take any old body in. You don't need to let these people out here at church. Oh yeah, I was up and down the roads and I'm helping these people. It don't matter. We don't need to be out there. If that to have that happen, it can happen anytime. My wife could be on one of her walks, or I could be at one of my rare appointments and have just somebody supposed to sit there and just happen to be there, and it might have just been put there in a special place. Now, that could happen at any time. So I'm assured that, I'm not guaranteeing that we'll get something, but if it's meant to happen, there'll be something that, like my wife, you'll know it's right, because this will have come, the way it was supposed to. And as long as it's took, it's got to be right, whatever it is. And like I said, look for somebody, slim to average body type, and any race will do. Like I said, we didn't want those compromises. As long as there's room to breathe, that's all that matters. Any other things, it's not about perfection. As some people might have you, or maybe the crack whore Susan thing out here, maybe telling other people out there about me, maybe, or about my wife, maybe trying to fill people's heads up with stuff that's not exactly all true either. That's why I'm saying, that's why I make a video. Because I'm hoping some of these people that's maybe come in contact with these people, whether they work with them, or whatever, they just know they're nuts. And you just, warn as many as you can. Stay away from them. Because they're never going to be right. I told that, and, parents, I said, she going to be lucky she make it to 40 at the rate she's headed. So anyway, hey, it's just what it is. Hey, honey, did you want to say anything? Do you want to make something on this video? Okay. She just likes hearing me talk, I think. Gives us something to go back and listen to. But anyway, I think I pretty well covered what I was going to cover this morning. But if my wife wants to go out there and do that stuff, she's more welcome to on that, that ring and everything. But anyway, because like I've stated before, we can go out and if there's a person out there, if she comes, we'll take her out there and go get her one. If she, or something. And like I said, we got a certificate like thing we can fill out, and the day that we did your own thing and married you, or however we want to do it privately. No, we're not going to no damn courthouse or goddamn, church thing or nothing like that. It's not legal, but we're going to have our own way of doing things. And going to fix it up where, like I said, and like I said, it's, hopefully we find, and like I said, one thing I've mentioned this before too, when I'm thinking about it, Yeah, that's why we cut out rides to the store. It's why, for some reason or other, I've not mentioned this on this video yet, but we've always seemed to get somebody 60 plus. We've always seemed to get, and nothing against it, but it's just not. It's not a favorable crowd, And I'm not one of these people that gossips a lot or whatever, or anybody that pays attention. I don't know who views them and who don't. You know, I don't report anybody. I'm not a title teller, and I don't, or nothing. So, I expect the same respect. And I'm sure my wife, too. So yeah, that's why we always put these videos are not for kids. It always tells on there. So I like to think we have the right to say what we feel as long as we ain't saying we're going to go down a road that and actually do something to someone or say something that would definitely put you out in a bad light and put you behind bars or whatever. But like I said, I got more sense than that. You're you should be allowed. One of the first amendments or the First Amendment or whatever, freedom of speech. Which a lot of countries are jealous of, and have a right to be. But that's also what we fixed our own wagon up. Letting all these damn people over here green cards and all that shit too. Like I said, a lot you can learn. Some of the stuff, I think, a lot of it ought to be switched up, and our borders shouldn't be open for everybody. Everybody used to always travel and go halfway across the world until a few years ago. Like I said, it wasn't no different when we had that fucking Spanish flu shit. Everybody would just say, "Oh yeah, there's a flu shot, there's an ass shot. You want it, take it." And everybody there for a while was all up in arms. Every time they just look at somebody, they always thought they had to wear a mask, or they thought they had to, I remember when that first happened, I walked down just to go get some fresh air with my wife. And, it's supposed to be, in the house, it's supposed to be quarantined or whatever. I was like, oh, God, give me a break. It's like, my God, where's these people's heads at when we was about 2 or 3 years old, and then nobody wasn't out here wearing no mask or nothing. And then, so, I'm not sit out here and promote nothing, but and yeah, maybe somebody lost somebody, or maybe a lot of these people did get sick. The fluctuation with news and numbers, there's no way that stuff could be accurate. I don't care how much research they did. And they always blow stuff up 10 times out of proportion, as they always do. So, we could have just had a few 100,000 be sick. And maybe, like I said, there's some people that did die, but like I said, the numbers and stuff are not always accurate. You can't. They make it sound worse, like they always do. It's like the weatherman. You watch the weatherman on TV, they always get enjoyment out of having tornadoes and hurricanes, shit to talk about. All they had to talk about was the sun being hot and it being a nice, breezy, cool day, or there wasn't no snow, if there wasn't nothing for them to talk about, they would get no enjoyment out of the job. I know they'd be miserable as fuck too. They actually get off on having something bad to talk about. It gives, they do. I'm just saying, they have to. A lot of them. And as long as they're making that money, I don't know what they make, but they probably make a good chunk of change. They'll do it. And be glad to do it. But if it's their house, it'd be a different story. Or someone they knew. Like I said, it's what I'm saying. It's a whole offer. It's ain't for everybody. It's just something that a few people might reach out and do. But you can't expect nobody to help you with it. It's got to come on its own. It's got to be something that we do ourselves. My wife said it the other day. And yesterday, she was on here for a few minutes. It's could be something that comes to us the way it's got to come, Can be something you ask somebody else for, or hope that somebody else will land someone else in your thing, because they don't know you. They don't know my wife, and they don't know us. But it has to be somebody that came like my wife, and it has to be somebody that knows that they're a perfect fit. And they can stomach the way we are and don't expect us to change, and I wouldn't change them. I take whatever was there, if, as long as there was somewhere to breathe, and there was somewhere to compromise, which, like I said a lot of times before, my wife didn't have that luxury of doing that, really. Is either they're aware of the highway, and I'm going to choose the highway every time because I don't want to be changed. If I can't find a way to compromise and make things work, I can't help you. No matter how bad my wife would like for me to have done for some of these people, and Lord knows there was a few of them. But, I can't help where I can't see myself in the long run and in future tense being satisfied with somebody. It's just ain't one of these things where, oh yeah, we're just going to do something part time and just have you around once in a while or something. We want 100% here. There's a commitment here, and there's something that we want to have with somebody that really wants us and no one else. And if you do have a few family or a few good friends or whatever, let us get to know them at our pace. Don't rush us. Let them come around. When they do, we'll say hi and we'll greet them or whatever after. So we said in our earlier video portion of it. That's all we ask. You know, it's all any reasonable person asks. But anyway, you got anything you want to put before I get off? Okay, all right, well, all right, just double checking. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here. Okay, well, I just double checking because I was fixing to get off. All right, well, I'm done for today. I'll see you later.